Fellow Kenyans, this has been a year of great strides. We have conquered our fears with indomitable strength and unrivaled passion. As we celebrate Christmas of 2028 and usher in the new year 2029, I must say that I am a proud father to a nation of hard-working, resilient, and talented people. Our economy has recovered from the pits of death. The Kenya shilling has grown in leaps and bounds, exchanging at 102 shillings to the dollar as of yesterday. The stabilization of our currency has reduced our debt burden significantly. It has lowered the cost of imports and increased the value of our exports. The prices of commodities has gone down historically in a way that we have not seen in 15 years. My government has reduced taxes but increased the revenue that we collect by expanding the tax base. We have created new markets and sources of income for Kenyans. We have also reduced cash hemorrhage through corruption. Today, the Kenya Revenue Authority boasts of a collection of revenue of 340 billion shillings monthly and is on track to hit the annual revenue target of 4 trillion by next year, June 2029. Fellow Kenyans, our shameful days of dependence on aid and expensive loans is over. We shall build our nation using our own sweat. We have increased the access to capital for all people that want to start businesses. Our banks have more liquidity and willingness to lend due to the reduction of government appetite for domestic borrowing. As I speak to you today, the average interest rate for a business loan is 14% per annum. The digitization of key assets and securities has reduced the default rate, thus making our banks and financial institutions more resilient. Fellow countrymen, as I promised you in my campaign, I have made good my commitment to recover stolen wealth and repay our debt. This year, we have recovered cash equivalent of $32 billion, which is approximately 3.2 trillion Kenya shillings as per our current exchange rate. This has not been without its challenges. The mobilization of tribalism to defend the theft of public resources is on the rise. The formation of criminal gangs and armed groups by former state officials continues to threaten our national security, peace, and cohesion. I want to assure them that I will stop at nothing to recover every single penny stolen from our country. In this effort, I recognize the good partnership and diplomatic relationship that Kenya has enjoyed with our international partners and governments around the world. With surgical precision, we have restored public confidence in state institutions. Today, we boast of an independent judiciary devoid of political influence, bribery, and corruption. Once again, I commend the new Judicial Service Commission under the leadership of the Chief Justice for working overtime to hear and determine more than 150 petitions against various judicial officers accused of corruption, favorism, and incompetence. I have received a recommendation for the removal from office of 3 Supreme Court judges, 6 Court of Appeal judges, 20 High Court judges, and 110 magistrates. The judicial officers shall cease to hold office immediately. The new director of DCI and DPP shall prepare their files for criminal prosecution. Earlier this year, I made an executive order to significantly reduce the size of the government. Pursuant to this intervention, I am excited to report that the recurrent expenditure, including the wage bill, has reduced to 40% of our budget from 73%. This has increased the available resources for development to 60% of the budget. Ridiculous offices, like those of the spouses of state officers, were scrapped off. The size of cabinet has been reduced to 14 ministries, and various state departments and corporations with overlapping functions were merged. Fellow Kenyans, as we move into the new year of 2029, I urge all of you to support the government-initiated referendum bill of 2029. This bill seeks to amend the Constitution and further reduce the size and cost of running government. Of priority is the reduction of the size of our parliament to a more lean and effective house. A few weeks ago, I appointed a presidential task force on education funding reforms to recommend policy interventions that will reduce the cost of learning in Kenya. I welcome your recommendations. Ladies and gentlemen, as your father and as your president, I am proud of you. I wish you a Merry Christmas, full of love, and a Happy New Year 2029. Asanteni sana, mjibambe.
Is Morara Kebaso the person he thinks he is? This time round, he has decided to time travel to 2028. Will be after the general election of 2027, and his speech was purely based on a context that he will be winning the 2027 presidential election, and he has come out to really put a lot of things across, citing that there will be a lot of changes if he comes into power. He is among the very few Kenyans who have strong belief that come next year and the years to come, Kenya will be changing for good and Kenya will be for everybody. As of the moment, we have seen how he has been exposing a lot of stalled projects across the country, and he has exposed a lot of things which are making the republic struggle. He might be having a good heart, a good will, but will Kenyans really entrust him with their throne? Because wherever who leads this Kenyan throne has a lot of mandate to provide change for the Kenyans. Above the moment, we have seen how the current president of Kenya has been facing a lot of challenges because he overpromised during his campaign periods.